This is a story about insulin and personal health by Bruce Bair, PAC, the midlife mentor. And there you see a picture of that ugly fellow. This story involves Gale. Gale is 50 years old and can't figure out why she can't lose weight. She is always on the heavy side of normal until she went through menopause. The hot flashes, brain fog, and trouble sleeping were all tough, but a slow, steady weight gain vexed her. After her recent physical, her physician told her she was healthy, except for increases in her triglycerides and bad cholesterol, and said if she could not lower it in the next 6 months, she would need to take a, quote, statin drug to lower her cholesterol. This frightened Gale. One of her friends from the gym was on a statin, and now her muscles were too sore to exercise regularly. Gale did not want that. She did not want to get as big as a cow. After all, she hit the gym every morning at 6 a.m. for an hour of intense cardio like spin, aerobic classes, or hard running on the treadmill. If she looked like this with all that exercise, what would she look like without it? That week, Gale went to her book club. Afterwards, she and a close friend, Sue, had coffee in the bookstore coffee bar. As they chatted, Gale told Sue about her recent physical, the warning from her doctor, and her fear about not being able to do more as she was now than she was now to improve her numbers. Didn't you have trouble with your bad cholesterol last year? Asked Gale. I did have a test that my doctor said was not good. He wanted me to start on a statin right then. I told him I wanted to do some research and see if I can improve without medication, Sue replied. What did you do? First, said Sue, I contacted the wellness nurse where I work. She was able to give me some information about cholesterol and diet. Then I got a tip from a coworker who had improved her cholesterol numbers and stayed off of drugs. She told me she had hired a coach to help her. I decided to talk to him. He had a course that I took via email about health. After the course, I felt comfortable with him, so I hired him. It was what I learned and applied from my sessions with him and his membership site that helped me make a few changes that made all the difference. I amazed my doctor. Gale got the URL and did some reading on the coach's blog. She took the e-course and, like Sue, decided to hire the coach. Their first conversation went like this. Coach, what is it that you want me to help you do? I want to lower my cholesterol, but not with medication. Have you discussed this with your doctor? He suggested I try diet and exercise for 6 months, then repeat the test. If my results are not better, he wants me to take a statin. I'm afraid of that. I eat really healthy now, and I work out hard for an hour 5 days a week and still gain weight. I'm afraid the statin might slow me down and I will get as big as a house. The coach asked Gale to describe her diet, to give him examples of a typical day's food intake. That information follows here, but the bottom line is that Gale's total calories per day are around 1,600. About 45% of those calories come from low-fiber, high glycemic load sources, and that she has a 16-hour period in which she eats less than 400 calories and does intense prolonged aerobic workout during that time. Most days. She sleeps about 7 hours per night, but her sleep is interrupted once per night by a sweat and the need to urinate. During her one-to-one sessions and in the supplemental materials on the membership site, Gale learned about the glycemic index and glycemic load, that insulin is the boss hormone and she has to respect its job and assist rather than interfere with insulin. She has to keep cortisol and adrenaline levels low, that regular, prolonged, high-intensity aerobic workouts increase cortisol and adrenaline, and this does the opposite of what she's trying to accomplish. Low blood sugar that occurs during sleep causes the sweat and the spike of sugar dumped into her blood by her liver. Low blood sugar that occurs during sleep causes the sweat, and the spike of sugar dumped into her blood by her liver to correct this low blood sugar cause a diuresis, or an increased urine output, and the need to empty her bladder in the middle of the night. She could help her hot flashes by eating fat that supplied some ketones to her brain for fuel and to replace the need for glucose temporarily. There is no good or bad cholesterol, only the presence or absence of inflammation caused by a good or bad lifestyle. This is to be continued. We will pick up at 6 months later in the next video.